Craig Augustine was fishing during the most recent Grunion run in Southern California, throwing a jerkbait when a 35-pound striper slammed into his lure. A long, arduous battle ensued. He ultimately prevailed over his first saltwater striper, a monster 35-pounder, and like a true sportsman, he released the mighty fish. Bluefin tuna in Baja, California continue to bite, as evidenced here by Carlos Cortez from Cortez Sport Fishing in Popotla, Baja, California. Carlos really knows how to put the wood to a big tuna, and you would be smart to go fishing with him. Check out the size of this BFT. Carlos Cortez, Cortez Sport Fishing, Popotla, Baja, California. Seabass continue to bite at Cedros Sport Fishing with Toro on Cedros Island, along with some really excellent halibut fishing. The calico bass bite has been phenomenal, and the yellowtail bite has been inconsistent, but at times fishing in the Channel Islands is off the hook. David Rosenthal from Angle R Pliers had a fantastic trip with Jerry, Jim, Gary, and Phil. They had 21 halibut, the biggest one weighing 36 pounds. Tremendous fishing on the white flukes and a dropper loop with a live or fresh dead squid. Really great fishing. You are looking at the moment when a 231-pound bluefin tuna slams into a shredder bar trolled by Dennis White, private boater near San Diego, California. Let's see if we can see that explosion.
It must be serious.
Pretty exciting stuff as they return home with their remarkable... Captain Jeff Lingle is trolling about 150 miles south of the border down below San Martin Island. He had a triple jig strike on 40 to 60-pound bluefin tuna, added a yellowfin tuna, a yacht fishing right next to him, went into a stop, ended up with 3 bluefin and 5 yellowfin tuna. Here they come. Tyler Allen is fishing between Oceanside and San Onofre, about 10 to 12 miles offshore, and he's catching some nice big grade yellowtail. More kelp patty yellowtail are on the way. There's yellowfin tuna in Dorado, 140 miles south of the border. High hopes are on. Please don't forget to support the Friedman Adventures family members who make this all possible, like the taxman, Tim Marquez, and your garage door man, Joe Welker, who does a great job and gets rave reviews here at Friedman Adventures. Heating and or air conditioning needs, it's our dear friend, John Lopez, and also the Island Spirit, Ventura Sport Fishing. You can't beat it. Chris Isaac and the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org.
Get out of bed and wake up the kids, 'cause you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Fishing reports up and down the coast with Phil Friedman, your coffee-loving host. So much fishing intel, it feels like cheating when you tune into the morning briefing. Inshore, offshore, from the surf, bluefin, yellowtail, pod, surf, perch. Tell you where the fish are and what they're eating when you tune into the morning briefing. So give it a like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of all the fishing content coming your way. Friedman Adventures is here to make your fishing day. It's a morning briefing, morning briefing.
Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It's great to be with you, man. It is just sunrise right now, and what a report we've got for you here today. My God, did you see that striper? What a magnificent catch here in the Southern California surf. It doesn't get any more monumental than that catch. Wow. I'm still in awe of that wonderful big striper caught here on a Grunion run. I mentioned to you that fishing at night during the Grunion runs can be very productive. We'll cover Mexico. We're going to talk a little bit about Cedros. We'll see what's going on in San Quintin. Ensenada's just rocking and rolling. Really good fishing for Cortez Sport Fishing and Carlos Cortez out of Popotla. And, of course, long range, the first Wahoo on an 8-day trip this year on the Independence. We've got our Bluefin tuna update. Some great white sea bass fishing. San Francisco's biting. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. So good to be with you all. And so much going on here in SoCal and Mexico, up there in Northern California. You can't get any better than it is right now. Please hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you're able to do that. Make sure you subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that rotten, filthy bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. You can also follow us, pushing 10 million views in the last 28 days. You can follow us over there on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And every single one of those views I owe to you. Thank you so very, very much. All right, let's jump into it. Man, I've got a lot of friends that are leaving to go fishing. Susan Sosa's going to San Clemente Island on board the Fury. Dan Lightfoot, Isaac Parcells taking a bunch of kids like Michael Limon and Ethan out on the Pacific Voyager with Max Nui. It's going to be a really fun couple of days ahead. And of course, tonight I'll be down at Long Beach Sport Fishing. We're going twilight bass fishing. And I got to tell you, it was pretty good last night. Nick Ramirez was out there. Nick is such a great Friedman Adventures family member. I don't know if Nick has more fun catching fish or helping others catch fish. But they had a great night last night on board the Native Sun. Oh, a couple more things. The Desiree rescue video has now surpassed 1 million views. Thank you all so very much for that. That podcast is such a source of inspiration for yours truly. Desiree is a remarkable human being, as are Paul Strasser and Captain Mark Paisano. All right, let's get into it. What am I doing, man? Cedros. Well, you saw it on the lead-in. Man, I'll tell you, calico bass fishing off the hook. Some nice white sea bass and some nice halibut. And the yellowtail are really starting to bite. Now, they don't bite with the same consistency that we'd like to see, but that looks like it's getting ready to occur. You saw that Cedros Sport Fishing with Toro. They had some outstanding fishing. San Quintin, only 140 miles down below the border. And down there, they've been smashing the yellowtail, and they continue to do just that great yellowtail fishing down there for Tiburon Sport Fishing, Chiflo Flores, and several other operators down there in that neck of the woods. It's been good. Offshore, seeing more Dorado, seeing more and more yellowfin tuna, and there's bluefin tuna there also. So that's looking very, very good. Beautiful Ensenada, Baja, California. The operators down there from Punta Banda, from Ensenada Central. It's great fishing. If you want to go out and catch bluefin tuna, now is the time to do it. Ensenada is on the bite. They had several boats catching limits to bluefin tuna per angler down there yesterday. Mara's Sport Fishing, Carlos Cortez up there at Popotla, just a 15-minute drive south of Rosarito Beach. That's been fantastic for them. If you want to stay more local, there's some yellowtail under the birds now. You can throw the iron and catch a yellowtail. There's been some superior barracuda fishing. The barracuda bite right now is off the hook in Ensenada and calico and sand bass. It's been really fantastic here recently. Love what's going on in beautiful Ensenada right now. You owe it to yourself to drive down there, have a fish taco, experience Baja hospitality, and catch a few fish too, because man, it's biting. Really excellent fishing going on down in Ensenada. And of course, we like to look down there, not only to see what our friends are doing in Mexico, but it's a preview of what's to come here in Southern California. We are on our way. I mentioned that the Independence on a long-range trip had a Wahoo. That's the first Wahoo catch we've seen. They had a few fish. They also had really good yellowfin tuna fishing and really good yellowtail fishing. It's been a fantastic year for all the long-range boys. They've been all over it, and they continue to do really, really well on the yellowtail, on the yellowfin tuna. And on the way home, many of those guys will go back in on the beach, and they'll catch calico bass and sand bass. They'll catch a halibut. They've had some good white sea bass fishing. It's really been spectacular long-range fishing. No doubt about that. Jeff Lingle, he's a great guy fishing a yacht down below there in that 140-mile areas where Jeff's been hanging out. He spends his days on the beach catching yellowtail, and then offshore, he's been putting the wood to the bluefin tuna. 3 or 4 over 100 pounds is what Jeff had on this trip. He had full limits of bluefin tuna, Dorado, a yellowfin tuna, a bunch of yellowtail to go along with it. Outstanding fishing. Of course, Jeff's been sounding the alarm about that Dorado and about that yellowfin tuna moving into our zone. He's been on it with some other yachts down in that neck of the woods, and the Outer Limits yesterday had a Dorado in the San Diego fleet, perhaps the first one on a sport boat this year, so that is great stuff. Tootsie Report says still nice warm water here in Southern California on this beautiful morning. Man, that striper, I'm still thinking about that. What a catch that was. Fantastic, great stuff here in SoCal. So we had that Dorado and bluefin tuna. I've been describing it as mediocre. You know, some guys have really, really good trips. Other guys have been struggling with this. The nighttime bite has been very slow for the most part. And there's a lot of smaller grade bluefin tuna running around right now. And you're fishing with anchovy, folks. You got anchovy right now. There's no sardine. So that presents some new obstacles that you're going to overcome. And do not be afraid to bring a good quality spinning reel with you. You will outfish everybody. You'll get a much longer cast, especially if you're a novice angler. There's some of you boys I know who know what you're doing. You fished chovy before. You know, old timers like Dan Lightfoot, who's been fishing Southern California for 200 or 300 years. He showed me all his tackle from about 60 years ago, and he's ready to go tonight on the Pacific Voyager. You are going to have to make a cast with a chovy, small little sinker on there. Might do you some good. 20 to 30 pound fluorocarbon. Heck, if you can get a bite on 40 pound fluorocarbon, throw it at them. But you know, with chovy, you got to have to drop that down in many cases. Speaking of the Pacific Voyager and the boys going out with Max Nui tonight, they just got back in and they had a pretty darn good trip, a 3-day trip, 16 anglers, 73 on the bluefin tuna, and they also had 10 yellowtail to go along with that. You saw that 231 pound giant bluefin tuna bite the spreader bar for Dennis White. So there's a few big fish around, but there's a lot of that, you know, 20 to 30 pounds, some smaller, like 8 pound bluefin tuna. Then you run into 60 to 80 pound fish. The Grande yesterday, 31 anglers on board, had 11 yellowtail. They saw so much bluefin tuna. They figure it's only a matter of time. Once we get off this full moon phase, is what I'm guessing, then you're going to see all the fish that they're looking at finally turn on. Polaris Supreme on a 3-day trip, 24 guys, and they had 100 plus on the bluefin tuna. So there's some good hits around, and then there's some very poor hits around. It's very, very inconsistent right now. We'll see where it all goes, and whether it's moon phase or this chovy thing. It certainly is not the weather, because the weather is really straightened out, and it is quite nice right now. All right, let's talk about our islands right now. Coronado Islands, a few yellows down there in that neck of the woods, but they're not biting all that well at all. So we're watching that for you very, very closely. Calico bass, sand bass on the coast, calico bass out at the islands, and some really good barracuda fishing. You need rockfish. That hasn't been a problem. San Clemente Island, if you're around the backside and dropper looping, you have a chance for some really big quality yellowtail, sea bass, a halibut from time to time. May not be wide open, but the quality's been magnificent. And then when you look around the front side of the island, you'll catch smaller grade yellowtail, but you can definitely get up in the double digits on your sport boat, 10, 12, 15, something like that. And there are bluefin tuna right near there. That's why I'm thinking maybe Susan's going to come up with a good catch. 23 anglers on board the Fury yesterday. 7 bluefin tuna, 17 yellowtail. I like this score. 16 barracuda, 53 calico bass. Released a bunch of other bass along with it. Sheephead, whitefish, that kind of stuff. There's kelp patty yellowtail around right now, my friends. You know, we've seen private boaters like Tyler Allen yesterday catching fish off Oceanside. You know, like between Oceanside and San Onofre, 10, 12 miles offshore. He had some kelp patty yellowtail along with several other guys. I see a lot of dolphin feeding in the surf here this morning, which is a good sign. A Grunion run tonight. Don't forget, I don't know if those little devils showed up last night or not. If you happen to go out and look for Grunion and found them or didn't find them, please drop a comment down below and let us know, because I am very curious about that. So once again, we've got a lot of good signs from kelp patty yellowtail, 2 yellows at the island, and good calico bass fishing at San Clemente Island. Tons of blue perch at Catalina Island. You get an occasional yellowtail, get some pretty good bass fishing, a lot of shorts, but also some good legal bass at Catalina Island. The El Patron, the Pursuit have been over there on a regular basis. The El Patron runs every single morning at 5 a.m. and they've been running into that variety. And Mad Dog is on those trips. Anthony is decking over there on the El Patron right now, doing a great job. Anthony, way to go. We'll be on the El Patron tonight. I'll get into the twilight fishing in just a moment. It's been pretty darn good. I'm hoping for a big night tonight. I'm hoping to spend some quality time with you, and I'm so happy that trip sold out really, really fast when we threw it up online. Good stuff. And now we take you up to the Channel Islands. And you know, Santa Barbara Island is a part of that. There's some good sea bass fishing going on there at SBI right now. We get you up there into the Channel Islands, and man, oh man, I got to tell you, that boat pressure is ridiculous on the weekends. It's really heavy boat pressure up there in that area right now, and that's part of what makes it more difficult. But the Endeavor with a nice trip, really great trip, a 2-day trip with 16 guys, 44 white sea bass, 35 halibut. How can it get much better than that? That is a really great trip. Furman Ramirez was on a private boat, and he went out and they ended up catching 5 white sea bass in the 25 to 35 pound class. Nice going, Furman. And they had a 30-pound yellowtail, but Furman said, man, there had to have been at least 60 boats, maybe more than that, everywhere. Skiffs and private boaters. It seemed like there was everything from float tubes to yachts out there running around trying to take advantage of this extraordinary fishing. And it truly is extraordinary. Several other sport boats with good catches of white sea bass, and other guys kind of missed because of all this boat pressure. And David Rosenthal, David, Angle, R, pliers. They are such a great product. Angle R pliers. You owe it to yourself to get yourself a pair or two ASAP. They'll make your fishing experience so much better. 5 guys, 21 halibut. What a great trip. It was absolutely fantastic for David, Jerry, Jim, Gary, and Phil as they put the wood to some beautiful fish. Their biggest flatty was 36 pounds. John Dickens was over on the new Hustler, and they had wide open barracuda fishing yesterday along the coast. They wanted to catch sea bass, couldn't make that happen. You know, there has been this boat pressure, and there was a drop in water temperature after the most recent winds, but that seems to be a thing of the past. Man, if you have a trip weekdays coming up, it's going to be good. I'll tell you that right now. Fantastic fishing up there in that neck of the woods. Up there in Santa Barbara, picking away at a few sea bass up there in that neck of the woods. Great rock fishing up there in Avila Beach and Morro Bay. San Francisco, lovely Martha sport fishing. The California Dawn, several other guys with absolutely great fishing going on in terms of the halibut and the striped bass. I don't know how it can get any better than that. All right, let's talk about our local bite down in San Diego. Tremendous sand bass fishing for the local boys down there. How, I ask you, can it get any better than it is right now? Fantastic fishing on the sand bass. You know, a dropper loop rig with a chovy. You see them being caught 2 at a time right now. You can fish a plastic lure and get a bite. I'm sure you can take an iron and bounce it off the bottom it's so wide open to catch a nice fish doing just that. So that bass bite, spectacular. And there's good calico bass fishing also in that area. We've seen some really good calico bass fishing, but it's mostly sand bass right now, and it has been good. There's the occasional halibut. There's a yellowtail swimming around once in a while. And also you can pick off a white sea bass or two. The white sea bass this year have been spread from above the Channel Islands down to Cedros and below that. It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. Moving you up the line there around Dana Wharf, we see some really good calico bass fishing, a lot of shorts, but a lot of action. Good sand bass fishing for the Davies Locker boats. A lot of weekend boat pressure sometimes. But man, I'll tell you, it has been absolutely fantastico. And up here in the LA Orange County area, while it has been a little bit more hit and miss in the daytime, it is still really, really good. And it seems to be reacting better every single day. We're seeing more sand bass. It just hasn't slowed down one bit at all. It's been a spectacular year for local sand bass fishing. Last night, the native son, our good friend Nick Ramirez, was on board having fun with so many of the friends he's made, just shucking it up and having a great time. And Nick, your number one, way to go. Easy limits on the sand bass. Man, they were catching and releasing early last night, which bodes well for our El Patron trip tonight, everybody. I'll see you at the landing. Remember to get a bite. You didn't really have to last night, but if it gets a little tough, you can drop that fluorocarbon down to 15, 20. But at night, so most of the time, it's been so wide open, it really is not an issue. You can fish 25, even heavier than that, and get a bite. Really great stuff, and some really wonderful fishing taking you up the coast. We mentioned the new Hustler up there with good barracuda fishing for the boys up there around Oxnard, Ventura area. The Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing with an outstanding day yesterday on the bottom grabbers. Excellent rock fishing there for that kind of stuff. So that continues to bite also. If you need some rockfish, that has not been a problem. Man, this water is warm. It is beautiful. What a gorgeous Sunday morning. I hope you get out for a walk or get to go fishing or get out and enjoy this beautiful blessing that we've had bestowed on us that you really shouldn't take for granted. I'm really talking to myself right now, everybody. All right, let's talk about the Southern California surf. And man, I'll tell you, I got to go back to Craig Augustine and that magnificent catch. He went to Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, and he bought a jerk bait, I'm presuming maybe a Lucky Craft lure, and he was fishing during the Grunion run, and he came up with that 35-pound striper. What an awesome catch that was. Craig, really appreciate you sharing that. Carl Erickson. Carl, good morning to you, my friend. Carl said, Phil, you motivated me and my wife. We went to Pacific Beach. We're on vacation. You motivated me to try surf fishing. Carl, with some great, awesome barred perch fishing. He said it was absolutely wide open. You throw in some corvina, dug up some sand crabs, and Carl was off to the races having a really good time. Jeff Pereira's been catching some good fish right down there on that tower you see. The tower at Anderson Street, Pacific Coast Highway. He's had a lot of walleye perch lately, a few corvina, and some short halibut during this Grunion run. Fishing tonight during the Grunion run. You're going to get yourself a nice big striper tonight? Who knows? I don't know if lightning's going to strike twice or not, but you can certainly pick up some nice yellowfin croaker and other species here with this Grunion run. Excellent fishing for many people here in the Southern California surf right now. Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Man, I'll tell you, Craig did it. He went down there and got that hard bait to throw and catch that giant striper, and you can pick up all the tackle you'll need. Anything your little heart desires at Southern California Surf Fishing Headquarters. Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Right down there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got everything you'll need for white sea bass, yellowtail, bluefin, tuna. They've got it all down there up in the Santa Monica Bay. We continue to see some good yellowfin croaker fishing around the Topaz Rock Jetty. It's been pretty darn good there. We've seen a lot more corvina starting to show up. Maybe this Grunion run's got things a little bit more active. And up to around El Segundo, some big barred perch with some good yellowfin croaker up around Ventura. There's been good barred perch fishing up there in that neck of the woods. Man, I'll tell you, it has been an exciting 24 hours. It has been really awesome. Dorado starting to push in. We're going to catch some yellowfin tuna today. Watch that very closely. Jeff Lingle down below with some great fishing. Our friends south of the border putting the wood to the bluefin tuna and catching that little bit of Dorado and that little bit of yellowfin tuna. That is all positive, great stuff. And that catch in the surf with that big striper, those Seabass in the Channel Islands, a twilight trip with Friedman Adventures tonight. Man, can it get any better for anglers in Southern California? And as I say, it's so beautiful and so lovely out. You should really, even if it's to go for a walk, you might come down here and see somebody catch something really spectacular. Or better yet, go fishing, man. Grab a rod and reel and give it a try. All right, my friends, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday morning to spend with Friedman Adventures. I'll be at you all day long, and I'll be shooting a video tonight on our twilight trip and having that for you, of course, on Monday. Don't forget, on Monday, we're going to have 2 live shows. That's going to be the Danny Cadota show with Captain Danny Cadota live from 22nd Street Landing, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then, of course, Tackle, Shop, Confessions over there at Island Fishing Tackle. That is going to be a really great one. Take care, my friends. Have a wonderful Sunday. And I hope to see you really, really soon.